Today's lesson is called Adventure Tourism, a Risky Business. Hello everyone, my name is Jeff.
My name is Roger, and today we're going to continue talking about adventure tourism. Maybe standard tourism just isn't good enough for you. Going to different places in the world as part of tour groups. Yeah, it can be fun at first, but eventually it gets kind of boring. You want something really, really exciting, something that will pump that adrenaline through your body. So you might want to consider adventure tourism, like going scuba diving or exploring caves or doing skydiving or swimming with sharks, or who knows. These are all part of adventure tourism.
Okay, adventure tourism. Some people are adrenaline junkies. They want their hearts to be pumping when they are on their traveling trips and stuff like that. And yeah, there's two types of people here. People who are soft and people who are hard. Okay, if you're like me and you go on an adventure tourism trip, you're soft and you want to do something that's not too tough. That's only moderately demanding. On the other hand, some people, well, they want a huge adventure. They're going to go for that hard adventure tourism. But if you are in this latter group, you got to be careful, okay? Weigh the risks against the fun you think you're going to have, and also figure out whether or not you should trust your tour company. After all, yes, you are putting yourself in harm's way when you go on one of these hard adventure tourism trips. Anyways, that's enough talking for now. Let's go ahead and take a short break, but when we come back, we'll start reading from another part of our lesson on adventure tourism.
A recent incident has exposed some major failings in the adventure tourism industry and elicited some long-deserved criticism as well. In December 2019, 21 adventure tourists were killed and many more injured while visiting a volcanic island off of New Zealand's coast. Questions were raised about why tourists were allowed on the island when experts had warned that the volcano was about to erupt.
大家好，第一部分我们看到单字 failing 这个字是名词，指缺点、弱点。例如 One of my sister's failings is her bad temper. 我妹妹的其中一个缺点是坏脾气。另外，这个字也可以当形容词，指衰退中的，像是 Dan knew his engine was failing as soon as it began making loud banging noises. 当引擎开始发出巨大的碰碰声时， Dan 就知道他的引擎正在退化。或是 His failing health was the cause of his resignation. 他日渐恶化的健康是他辞职的原因。接着我们看到动词 elicit 指引起、诱出。例如 The monsters on the movie screen elicited screams of fear from the audience. 电影里的怪兽引起观众一阵害怕的尖叫声。或是 The sound of the can opener elicited an immediate response from Brian's cats. 开罐器的声音马上引发 Brian 的猫有所反应。
All right, let's get to it, everybody. Let's talk about the first paragraph in today's lesson. Again, we're talking about adventure tourism. And where we left off yesterday, we were saying that you need to assess different touring companies because, after all, you are putting your lives in jeopardy. It is a risky business. So a recent incident has exposed some major failings in the adventure tourism industry and elicited some long-deserved criticism as well. So, yeah, recently we had some sort of incident, something that happened that involved a lot of danger and maybe some violence and injury and death and stuff like that. So this was a recent incident, and that has exposed some of the flaws, some of the problems, some of the failings in the adventure tourism industry. Now, if we talk about an incident, again, we're talking about something that basically happened, like the Meili Dao Shijian in Kaohsiung several years ago. I think that was called the Meili Island Incident, or the 228 incident here in the history of Taiwan. I hope they're not too controversial for me to mention them here. But yes, they are things that happened, an incident.
Yes, apparently there was a recent incident that exposed some major failings in the adventure tourism industry, and it also brought about or elicited some long-deserved criticism as well. So, a major failing. That means you made a really big mistake, or you might say that there's a very big weakness in something. So, here we've got this adventure tourism industry. Sure, they might get you into the water there so that you can swim with sharks. They'll put you in the water. You might be in the cage. You might see the sharks. But can they guarantee your safety, let's say? If not, that would be a major failing for them. Yeah, they can't guarantee your safety while you're on one of these adventure tourism trips. That's not good. That's bad. That's a major failing.
Yep, and these failings here elicited some criticism from people about the adventure tourism industry. So to elicit just means to cause something to happen. For example, maybe your university professor will ask you a question in class to elicit different opinions from the students, to bring out those opinions, to get people to say stuff. So because of this incident, some criticism came out against the adventure tourism industry. It's not only criticism, but it's long-deserved criticism. So yes, it should have been criticized a long time ago, but people were kind of afraid to criticize it. After all, it is adventure tourism, and people's egos are involved. If it involves doing amazing things to impress other people, it's kind of hard to criticize something like that.
There was an incident that really brought about some criticism. Get this, in December 2019, 21 adventure tourists were killed and many more injured while visiting a volcanic island off of New Zealand's coast. Before we move on, we have the word volcanic. That's the adjective. It comes from the noun, I should say, volcano. I believe in Chinese, the term for volcano would be huashan, i.e., fire mountain. Basically, a volcano is a mountain that can erupt and lava and smoke will come out the top there. Yes, that's the noun, volcano. The adjective is volcanic.
Yeah, volcanic. A volcanic eruption, for example. So yes, these tourists, they kind of knew that something was going to happen there. Geologists had taken a look at this island and they knew an eruption was coming. But these adventure tourists were anxious to get out there. They saw Jurassic Park and they saw the volcano erupting in that movie, and they thought, yeah, I want to see what that's like myself too, and be able to post pictures on Facebook and stuff like that. So I guess they paid a pretty high price to be taken out there, but unfortunately disaster struck. Lots of them were killed and injured. So of course that kind of exposed the failings in the adventure tourism industry. Now, this, of course, was off the coast of New Zealand, and questions were raised about why tourists were allowed on the island when experts had warned that the volcano was about to erupt. So, yes, we've been talking about volcanoes here. When they blow up, when they send lava into the air and down the sides of the mountain and all that smoke and ash up into the air, that's when the volcano erupts. We could also say that's a volcanic eruption.
There you go. Erupt is the verb. Eruption would be the noun. Yeah, I believe long ago, Mount Vesuvius there in Italy, it erupted and it covered the town of Pompeii in volcanic ash. That's what happened after the volcano there erupted. All right, folks, with that, it's time for us to take a break. But don't go away. We'll be back with more on adventure tourism right after this.
Having grown rapidly over the past 2 decades, the adventure tourism industry has cut corners on safety in order to chase profit. Many companies selling adventure holidays do not operate the tours themselves, but delegate the work to local companies. Thus, they have little control over how well guides are trained or what safety measures are in place.
第二部分，我们看到片语 cut corners on something， 表示在点点点上贪图省事、贪小便宜、走捷径。例如 The company was accused of cutting corners on the quality of their products. 那间公司遭控商品的品质缩水，或是 Our supervisor has given us plenty of time, so there's no reason to cut corners. 主管已给我们充足的时间，所以没有偷工减料的理由。
Okay, let's continue talking about adventure tourism. Having grown rapidly over the past 2 decades, the adventure tourism industry has cut corners on safety in order to chase profit. So more and more people are getting interested in this. And of course, these tour operators want to make some fast money. So yes, it's grown rapidly in popularity in the past 20 years. So unfortunately, though, in order to make more money, they have cut corners on safeties. Here, if you cut corners, you kind of take shortcuts. You don't do the things you're supposed to do. You probably think, yeah, we're supposed to take these safety measures, but how often does that really happen? It's not going to happen to us. That's going to happen to somebody else. So yeah, let's just not do that. Let's cut corners here to reduce the price so that we can increase our profit.
Yeah, it'll be fine. We'll take some shortcuts. We'll cut corners, okay? We'll ignore some details, small details that we don't think are that important, but which in the long term do turn out to be important. So don't cut corners. Make sure you pay attention to every single detail, however unimportant they might seem. Anyways, yeah, the adventure tourism, they're trying to make money, so they're cutting corners, but they're cutting corners on safety. So I imagine the geologists there said, don't go to this island. The volcano might erupt. And the adventure tourism company said, but if we don't take the people to the island, we won't make that sweet, sweet money. We'll have to give these people refunds. So you say that the volcano might erupt? Let's take the chance, okay? Maybe it won't erupt and we'll make a whole lot of money. Now, many companies selling adventure holidays do not operate the tours themselves, but delegate or outsource the work to local companies. So maybe they're not even in control of the things that are happening on the ground there.
Yep, to delegate, to entrust responsibility to someone else. So they don't do it themselves. They just kind of hire local companies to do the work for them. They delegate this work. They give the work to local companies. Thus, therefore, they have little control over how well guides are trained or what safety measures are in place. In place here just means they are in use, they are being followed, etc. So yeah, if this is a tourism company, they're not really too concerned about the safety measures. That's somebody else's problem. That's the local tour guides. You have to trust them.
Anyways, folks, with that, it's time for us to take yet another break. But don't go away. We'll be back with more after this.
While the industry will undoubtedly face greater restrictions as a result of the tragedy in New Zealand, travelers should also be more discerning about the types of adventure travel they partake in. Those interested in adventure travel must not only be cautious about the tour operators they use, but also ask themselves whether they're mentally and physically prepared for such an activity. There is a big difference between a controlled risk and life-threatening danger. And the sooner adventure tourists learn to differentiate between the two, the better.
第三部分，我们看到形容词 discerning， 指有鉴别力的、眼光敏锐的。举例来说 ，Although she loves wine, Ellie is not very discerning about what she drinks. 虽然 Ellie 爱喝酒，但她对于自己喝了什么没有什么鉴别力。另外，这个字去掉字尾 ing。就成了动词 discern， 指分辨出，像是 It was difficult to discern the color of the cloth because it was so dark in the room. 这块布的颜色很难分辨，因为房间的光线太暗了。最后，我们看到单字 differentiate， 这个字是动词，指区别、分辨。例如 You need to differentiate between what you want and what you actually need. 你必须区分你想要的和你所需要的不同。或是 Uniforms are worn to differentiate the national teams competing in the Olympics. 选手穿制服是用来分辨奥运里比赛的各国代表队。另外，补充一个相关动词 distinguish, D-I-S-T-I-N-G-U-I-S-H, distinguish 指辨认出、分辨。我们可以说 I have trouble distinguishing Courtney from her sister. 我很难分辨 Courtney 跟她的妹妹。
Okay, so of course the adventure tourism industry has taken a big hit because of this incident in New Zealand. So here it says in the final part of our lesson for today, while the industry will undoubtedly face greater restrictions as a result of the tragedy in New Zealand, travelers should also be more discerning about the types of adventure travel they partake in. So while the industry will face these restrictions, yes, it is true that the adventure tourism industry will face these greater restrictions. They'll not only face those restrictions, but they will undoubtedly face those restrictions. Undoubtedly just means without a doubt. You can bet on it. You can be sure that they will face these restrictions because of this incident. They will now be under pressure from governments to not let that happen again. And these are restrictions, things that kind of limit what you can do.
There you go. From now on, okay, if you want to go on an adventure tourism trip, just know you'll probably be going on a safer trip than before because there are these restrictions in place now, okay? Adventure tourism companies can't do whatever they want anymore. They can't cut corners anymore because of these restrictions. They are being limited, okay, as far as what they can do is concerned. Anyways, it says here travelers should be more discerning about the types of adventure travel they partake in. So yes, make sure that the travel tour group that you're going with, make sure that's being organized by someone who is responsible, okay? But also, don't go to volcanic islands, let's say in New Zealand, where a volcano is about to erupt. No. Be more discerning about things. Make better decisions about things.
And those interested in adventure travel must not only be cautious about the tour operators they use, but also ask themselves whether they're mentally and physically prepared for such an activity. So yes, indeed, they need to be cautious about those tour operators, yes, but they also need to ask themselves if they are really mentally and physically prepared. Lots of us, of course, nowadays overestimate our abilities. If you're asked by someone, how good a driver you are, most of us will say we're better than everybody else. So yes, we typically overestimate our abilities. So be objective and make sure you actually are mentally and physically prepared to climb Mount Everest or swim in the Marianas Trench.
Yeah, think, is this for me? Am I up to it? And then, yes, be discerning. Let's say you're a concert pianist or a surgeon. You probably shouldn't go swimming with sharks. You need your hands. If a shark bites your hand off, that'll be bad. Okay, so make sure you're discerning and also figure out, am I up for this? Can I actually do it? Now, there's a big difference between a controlled risk and life-threatening danger. Be aware of the difference. And the sooner adventure tourists learn to differentiate between the two, says our article, the better.
The sooner the better. That's a common phrase. The sooner you do your homework, the better you'll do on the test when it happens next week. And differentiate just means to tell the difference between one thing and another. Okay, that brings us to the end of our lesson for today. Let's listen now to our Chinese teacher.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文一开始提到，最近一个事件暴露了探险旅游产业的一些重大缺失，也引出一些早该有的这个批评。好，那么这边用到一个单字 incident， 我们来学它的字首字根。好， CID 这个字根它有 fall 降落落下的意思，然后再由降落衍生出发生降临的语义。在 incident 这个字当中，它的字首 in 表示进入， CID 表示发生，然后 ENT 是名词字尾，合在一起 incident 就是用来表达事件事故。同学们看到这个单字应该会想到这个 accident 这个字嘛，那么 accident 它的字首 AC 表示朝向，这是因为 AD 碰到 C 开头的字根，所以才会拼作 AC。 那么同样的 CID 它表示发生， ENT 是名词字尾。什么叫做朝向发生呢？同学们可以联想某个事故降临在某人身上，朝向某人发生，所以 accident 它表示意外，意外事故。 好，同样在课文第一部分，我们还有看到一个单字是 erupt， 我们来学它的字首字根。rupt 这个字根它表示破裂、断裂、打破。那包含这个字根的字呢，大多带有突然被介入啊，或是被打破原本规律的含义。在 erupt 这个字当中，它的字首一有向外的意思。RUPT 表示破裂。好，那当爆炸的时候，是不是会有东西破裂，然后很多碎屑向外喷发呢？所以 erupt 这个动词它就有喷出、爆发的意思。我们要表达火山的爆发，就常常会用到 erupt 这个动词。顺便补充几个有相同字根的单字哦。第一个 interrupt，它的字首 inter 表示在什么之间，然后 rupt 表示打断。当我们从中介入某事情或是某个活动，它的连贯性是不是就被打断了？所以 interrupt 它有打岔或是中断的意思。第二个补充的单字是 corrupt， C-O-R-R-U-P-T， 它的字首 C-O-R 是来自 C-O-M， 因为 C-O-M 碰到字母 R 就被同化成 C-O-R。好，那这样的字首它有强调作用，然后字根 RUPT 它表示破裂。同学们可以试着联想，当所有的事物都崩坏分离，我们去强调它的破裂状态，然后 corrupt 这个字它就表示腐败腐化了。好，第三个补充的是 abrupt， A-B-R-U-P-T， 它的字首 A-B 有分离的意思。那么 RUPT 表示打断。当某个东西突然断裂分离，是不是让你很错愕，有很突然很意外的感受呢？也许可以用这样的方式去联想 abrupt， 它有意外的、突然的、唐突的意思。第四个补充的是 bankrupt， 它表示破产倒闭。好，我们知道 bank 是银行，然后 RUPT 是破裂，可是银行破裂跟破产倒闭有什么关系呢？好，其实 bank 是源自于意大利文 B-A-N-C-A， 它有工作台的意思。那以前犹太裔的意大利人啊，他们是在工作台上面来进行货币交易，于是呢，他就从这种工作台破损毁损来引申，用来表达倒闭破产的意思。好，那么以上今天重点整理，我们回顾今天的单字吧。
Incident. Mike was an hour late for work because of a traffic incident on the highway. Erupt. Although this is an active volcano, it is unlikely to erupt. Delegate. Peter delegated some of the work to his assistant to speed things up. Undoubtedly. She was undoubtedly one of the greatest singers of all time. Restriction. There are some restrictions as to what you can import to another country. Differentiate. Learning to differentiate fact from opinion is one of the most important reading skills.
Discussion Starter starts now!
Here is our discussion starter for today, and the question is, would you join in adventure tourism? Why or why not?
That depends. Is it soft or is it hard adventure tourism? Now, as far as the hard adventure tourism is concerned, I'd say no. I think it's too risky to join an adventure trip because I could die. I've got a family that I've got to look after, so I'm going to pass on adventure tourism for now, maybe later when I'm older or something like that. I'm going to stick with more conventional modes of travel.
Yeah, well, I would like to join an adventure trip if I were traveling someplace and somebody said, hey, would you like to go climb that mountain or do some skydiving or something like that? If the opportunity presented itself, I'd probably say yes, but I would not actually go out and seek those kinds of activities. There are too many places in the world I haven't been to yet. I still need to check out museums and restaurants and things like that.
Okay, everyone. With that, today's article is now complete. But, as always, we sure hope that you guys have enjoyed reading along with us. Anyways, I'm Jeff.
I am Roger.
See you next time.